The man who invented car design as a profession, Harley Earl joined General Motors and became the first VP of design in corporate America. Before Earl, cars were built by engineers, boring boxes on wheels. Earl changed that completely. He created the concept car with the Buick Y-Job, literally the first concept car ever made. He invented clay modeling, which every car company still uses today. He gave America tail fins inspired by fighter jets. And most importantly, he created the Chevrolet Corvette after watching European sports cars dominated Watkins Glen. Earl thought America needed a sports car, so he built one. His philosophy was simple: make cars longer, lower, and more dramatic. By the time he retired, GM was the world's largest automaker, and design became the primary sales factor in the entire industry. An engineer who created two automotive icons. Ferdinand Porsche designed the Volkswagen Beetle, which became the world's best-selling car with over 21 million sold and 65 years of continuous production. Hitler wanted a cheap, reliable people's car, and Porsche delivered with a rear-mounted, air-cooled engine that was simple and brilliant. But the Beetle was just the beginning. That same rear-engine philosophy became the foundation for the Porsche 356 and eventually the legendary Porsche 911. 3 generations of Porsches, all using the same basic formula. Porsche also created the world's first gasoline-electric hybrid way back in the 1900s, proving he was ahead of his time in every way. His designs have sold over 30 million vehicles total. Not bad for someone who started as an engineer. Named Car Designer of the Century by automotive journalists worldwide, Giugiaro designed over 200 production cars, and over 60 million units have been sold with his signature on them. His most important design was the Volkswagen Golf, which replaced the Beetle and is still going strong 7 generations later. He also created the DeLorean DMC-12, which failed commercially but became iconic thanks to Back to the Future. The BMW M1 was another masterpiece. Only 453 were made, and they're worth millions today. And the Lotus Esprit appeared in 2 James Bond films, looking absolutely stunning. But here's what makes Giugiaro special. He could design exotic supercars and practical city cars with equal brilliance. He even designed pasta shapes and cameras for Nikon. At 86 years old, he's still designing cars. That's dedication. The master of dramatic wedge-shaped supercars, Gandini created the Lamborghini Miura, which literally invented the supercar genre with its mid-engine layout and stunning looks. Then he designed the Lamborghini Countach with scissor doors and a wedge shape so extreme it looked like a spaceship. Every kid in the 80s had this poster on their wall. The Lamborghini Diablo continued that legacy with looks that could kill. But Gandini wasn't just about supercars. He also designed the Lancia Stratos, which dominated rally racing and won 3 World Rally Championships. His ability to design both exotic supercars and practical mass-market cars like the Renault 5 and BMW 5 Series proves his versatility. Every Countach poster ever sold was basically Gandini worship. A South African genius who went from Formula One to creating the greatest supercar ever made. Murray was a chief designer at Brabham and McLaren, where his cars won multiple championships with drivers like Nelson Piquet and Ayrton Senna. Then he designed the McLaren F1 with a central driving position, a screaming BMW V12, and a top speed of 240 miles per hour. The engine bay was lined with gold foil for heat reflection, because why not? It was the first production car with a full carbon fiber monocoque and weighed under 1,000 kilograms. When the F1 GTR won Le Mans on its debut, it became the last road-legal car to win outright. Now, Murray's latest creation, the GMA T50, weighs just 986 kilograms, with a V12 that revs to 12,100 RPM and a manual gearbox. His obsession with lightness and driver connection makes him an engineering legend. Not one designer, but a legendary Italian design house founded in 1930. Pininfarina has been Ferrari's design partner for over 60 years and created the most beautiful Ferraris in history. The Ferrari Testarossa became an 80s icon with its side strakes and appeared in Miami Vice. The Ferrari F40 was raw, aggressive, and became an instant legend. The Ferrari Enzo was named after the founder himself and represented the pinnacle of Ferrari engineering. Pininfarina also designed the Maserati Gran Turismo, one of the most elegant GT cars ever made. Their philosophy centers on Italian elegance, timeless proportions, and emotional curves that don't age but become art.
Scottish designer, obsessed with flow and elegance, Callum saved Aston Martin from bankruptcy with the DB7, which sold over 7,000 units and brought the company back from the dead. He then created the DB9, arguably the most beautiful Grand Tourer ever made, with perfect proportions and flowing lines. The Aston Martin Vanquish appeared in a James Bond film and cemented Aston's place in pop culture. Later, at Jaguar, he designed the F-Type, finally giving Jaguar a proper sports car that was both gorgeous and thrilling to drive. His philosophy was simple: purity of line, emotional design, and no unnecessary details. Callum's cars don't scream, they whisper, but they make you feel everything.
Dutch designer and BMW's current design boss, who made the brand incredibly controversial. Van Hooydonk designed the BMW i8, which looked like it came from the future, with scissor doors and a plug-in hybrid powertrain. He also created the BMW X7, a massive luxury SUV with enormous kidney grills that sparked internet debates. The BMW 4 Series took the grille controversy to new levels, so large they became memes and earned the nickname Beaver Teeth. Traditional BMW fans revolted, critics complained, but sales hit record highs. Van Hooydonk is redefining BMW's visual language whether people like it or not, and the market is clearly responding positively to his bold choices. American-Spanish designer who saved 3 legendary brands with completely different design philosophies. Stephenson rebooted the Mini Cooper and made it cool again, retro but modern, cute but sporty, and it sold millions worldwide. At Ferrari, he designed the F430, one of their best-selling models ever with beautiful proportions. Then he moved to McLaren and created the P1 hypercar with 903 horsepower and a $1.15 million price tag that sold out instantly. He also designed the McLaren 720S, possibly the best-looking McLaren road car with fluid, aggressive lines. Stephenson's like a Michelin chef mastering Italian, French, and Japanese cuisines simultaneously. That's real versatility. American designer and former BMW chief who became the most controversial designer in automotive history. Bangle invented flame surfacing, design language with surfaces that change direction, creating tension and drama instead of smooth flows. The BMW E65 series introduced the infamous Bangle butt trunk design that made enthusiasts petition BMW to fire him. The BMW 7 Series was even more controversial with extreme styling that divided opinion. But here's what happened. Sales went up dramatically, and 5 years later, people admitted these cars aged beautifully. Then Mercedes, Audi, and Lexus all started copying his surface language. The thing everyone hated became the industry standard. Bangle proved controversial design works, and taking risks pays off. American designer who mastered retrofuturism. Mays co-designed the original Audi TT, which brought Bauhaus minimalism to sports cars with clean lines and simple surfaces that defined Audi's design direction. At Ford, he created the modern Ford GT, reinterpreting the legendary GT40 with contemporary styling. He also redesigned the Ford Mustang with retro cues that brought the nameplate back to life and made sales explode. The Volkswagen New Beetle was another Mays project, bringing the iconic Beetle back as a modern reinterpretation. His talent was taking automotive heritage and making it fresh and relevant for new generations while creating emotional connections through thoughtful design. Japanese designer who brought emotion and boldness to Nissan. Nakamura revived the Z car with the 350Z, giving it clean lines and affordable performance that reminded people why they loved the nameplate. Then came the GTR R35, the legendary Godzilla, a supercar killer that cost $70,000 and dominated everything on track and in video games. The Nissan Juke was love it or hate it controversial with its unusual styling, but it defined Nissan's new bold direction. Before Nakamura, Japanese design was reliable but boring. After him, it became bold, aggressive, and willing to take risks. He proved Japanese brands could push boundaries and polarize opinion while winning customers. German designer who transformed two Korean brands from bargain bin to desirable. Schreier co-designed the Audi TT early in his career, establishing his credentials. Then he joined Kia and completely transformed their image. The Kia Stinger was a revelation, a rear-wheel drive sports sedan with 365 horsepower that shocked enthusiasts and proved Kia could make serious driver's cars. He also elevated the entire Kia lineup, including the Soul, Optima, and Sorento. As president of Hyundai Design, he shaped the Genesis brand identity and made it look like a legitimate luxury contender against Germans. Schreier took two underdogs and turned them into design leaders. Italian designer and Ferrari's chief design officer creating modern Ferrari masterpieces. Manzoni designed the La Ferrari, Ferrari's 950 horsepower hybrid hypercar with aggressive functional beauty limited to just 499 units. The Ferrari 812 Superfast packed 789 horsepower into elegant yet aggressive styling. The SF90 Stradale is Ferrari's most powerful road car ever, with 986 horsepower from a plug-in hybrid system and looks like an absolute weapon. Manzoni's philosophy is that functionality creates beauty. Every curve serves aerodynamics. Every line has purpose. Form follows function, and beauty naturally emerges. His Ferraris are faster, more aggressive, and more purposeful than ever before. Lebanese-Canadian designer who's worked across German, American, and Korean brands, Habib was chief designer for the BMW 7 Series, creating an elegant flagship sedan. At Mercedes, he designed the interior of the Mercedes-AMG GT with its driver-focused cockpit. Currently, as Chief Design Officer at Kia, he created the EV6 electric crossover which won World Car Design of the Year with bold, futuristic styling. Habib proves he can adapt to any brand's DNA while leaving his mark. German precision, American luxury, Korean innovation. He masters them all and elevates whatever brand he touches with thoughtful, modern design. Which designer's work speaks to you? Drop your answer in the comments. Hit like, subscribe,